In this short lesson, we're going to go over the basics of prototyping in Figma, and it's actually pretty simple. So far, we've been using design mode. So if you go over here at the top of the properties panel, you can see we've been in design mode, but now we're going to toggle into prototype mode. And so for prototype mode, it's usually a good idea to either choose a device that your prototype is going to preview inside, or at least choose a size. So you can go through, just make sure you're selected. If you're selected on one of these frames, you're not going to see that option. So just click over on the canvas to get that option to choose your device. So device, there's tons and tons of different devices here. And you can even choose colors and stuff like that. I'm actually going to do a custom size. We're doing 1440 by 900. And a black background is fine. And the reason we want to choose a custom size is because let's select on this frame, and then I'll show you how to sort of preview that. If you go up here into the play button, you can hit present, and it'll bring you out to another tab on your Figma file where you can see your designs. And if we didn't choose a size, it would just show us one big long page exactly like this, just in a different screen with a black background. But we actually want to see in context, how is this going to look sort of like in a browser with the correct height. So that is step one. Step two is actually kind of making our transitions and our flows within this. So we're not going to do anything fancy in this lesson. We'll get into the more fun micro interactions and animations and things like that in the next lesson. But for now, I just want to show you how to set up a basic flow. So for the home page, we probably want this to be our starting point. So I'm just going to hit flow starting point here, and we'll just name this Fernie prototype. And for this screen, at the moment, we definitely want some scrolling going on. So by default, it's going to say no scrolling. We want vertical scrolling to happen here. So if we go back into our designs, you can see that this actually scrolls, which is great. So this is our flow starting point, but we need to figure out what buttons we want to lead to what other pages. So for example, this product lists page, this is kind of like the collections tab, I feel like. So let's double click in here, collections, and when we're selected on this element, you can see we can drag out a flow arrow from any of these sides. So you can see you can really drag it anywhere. We're going to drag it, of course, to this product list page. And then once we do that, we're going to have some options here. So on click, so yes, that's what we want. We want on click. You can also do on drag, while hovering, all of these things, which we'll get into some of these in a bit. But on click, we want to navigate to the product list page, and we want it to be instant. So that's a possibility, but I feel like we might want to do a different type of transition, maybe move in. So you can see exactly what that's going to look like with this preview here. I think that could look good, and they've automatically given us an ease out sort of like animation at 300 milliseconds. So let's preview what that is going to look like. So to preview that, there's a couple options. I can go up to here, but also we can just go to this icon here next to the starting point of our Fernie prototype and just click this button. And this is going to give us a brand new window. We can make it bigger if we want to. Okay, so we have this prototype here. As you can see, it's scrollable. And then let's click on collections. There we go. So that's not too bad. I kind of like that transition, and we can play around more with these when we get more into the details. But for now, that feels right to me. Now let's think, what else do we want to prototype? So from this page, we probably want to have an interaction take us from this page to the product details page. So it stands to reason when we click on this Seagal stools, it should bring us to its product detail page. So I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to drag this over, and it's going to give us the same presets that we did last time. Navigate on click to the product details page, move in, ease out at 300 milliseconds. So that should be good there. And then over here, we want this add to cart link to take us back here. So instead of moving in from this side, we probably want it to move out. So that should be good, or maybe even like that. Yeah, I think like that makes sense because it came from that direction. We want it to go back to that direction. So we also have this product over on the home page. So we can do the exact same thing there. Maybe that should take us straight to this page. So we want move in from that side. Looks good. All right, let's see how this is looking. Okay, so we have this screen. We're going to go to collections. Nice. Pretty cool. We're going to click on stools. And we get to this page. We can go back to list, which takes us back here. And I noticed something. So when we go back to list, it doesn't take the scroll back to its original position, which I like. Because have you ever been scrolling on a site, especially something like this, where you can go really, really far down like a product list page, and then you click on something and then you want to go back and it takes you all the way to the top. That's one of my pet peeves on e-commerce sites. So I like how we have that, and I want to show you how to do that if it doesn't happen automatically. So, okay, let's go to this interaction here. See how it says reset scroll position? That's unchecked. So that's good. If we checked it, then let's check this out again. So we're going to scroll, we're going to click this, and we're going to hit back to list and see how now we're at the very top. It's not as obvious because we haven't clicked one of these down here, but you can see we scroll, like we click on this, back to list, it's back to the top. So I don't like that. So we're going to come back in and switch this back to unchecking that position, which is great. And then as I'm looking through this prototype, I realized there's no way for us to get back from this screen to the home screen. So what we want to do is select on the Fernie logo and make sure that brings us back to the home page. And I think move in, let's see. Yeah, move in should be good, but it should move in from this side because it kind of feels like the first page in a flow. That's good for now. Okay, and one way that we could actually make this happen even quicker is through our component. So if you remember, we created this header component pretty early on. So let's go check it out. And when we're working with the main component, even in prototype mode, all the changes that we make will apply to all of its instances. So instead of having to wire up this logo to take us to the home screen everywhere it appears, we can do that one time on the main component. So let's do exactly that. We're just going to double click in. We're going to take this plus icon and we're going to say navigate to home. So that's great. And now let's do the same thing with collections. On any page we're at, if we hit collections, it should take us to the product list page. And same with this version too. Home page and collections page. All right, awesome. So we have a couple more pages to design later on in this course, the cart and the checkout. So once we do that, we will make those changes to the prototype as well and add those in so that we have a full working prototype of this site. But before we move on, let's just check out this prototype one last time now that we have all of those interactions wired up. Okay, so we're just scrolling on this page. Let's check this one out. We can go straight from here to this product details page. Okay, awesome. We can go back to the home page. Now I noticed when we go back to the home page, it also doesn't bring us back to the top, which actually for the home page, I don't like that. So let's change that. So let's do it on the component level. So here, reset scroll position, and here, reset scroll position. Let's do the same thing for collections, because if you're clicking on it in the main nav, then you probably do want to go back to the top of that page. Reset scroll position. Okay, great. So let's check this out again. Okay, so go back here. Back to Fernie. Now we are back to the top of this page. Let's go to collections, scroll a little bit, click on this one, scroll a little bit, go back to list. Cool. But what if we click on this, scroll a little bit, go back to collections, then we're at the top of the page, which is great. Okay, cool. I think that is kind of how we want all of those interactions to feel. So I really like it. In the next lesson, let's bring the product details page to life a little bit more with some fun animations and micro interactions.